I'm going to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about how important it is to appreciate and honor our volunteers. And then we're gonna watch a video after a few minutes of me sharing, and then I'm gonna open it up to anyone who wants to say words of appreciation to those that do amazing stuff around this place. So please bear that in mind. But when I think of volunteers, I think of everyone that is involved in some way in the life of the church. And in some ways, coming to church every Sunday voluntarily is also being part and parcel. You're not forced. I don't call you up at 5 a.m. in the morning saying, you got to be in church this morning, and you're glad that I don't do that. But then we also have people who serve in various parts of the church life, whether it's in music or cleaning or morning tea or whatever. People who are praying regularly. Again, you're not forced to pray for the church, but many of you do. And thanks to Michael, who sends out, Michael and his wife Aruna, who sends out the monthly newsletter that we can pray for the life of the church, but also for those that give, financially to support the life and mission of the church. That Adrian talked a bit about it last week, that because of the giving that comes in, we can continue to fulfill the mission that God has called us to do. A few weeks ago, someone mentioned to me about the difficulty about the National Church Life Survey, that there was one part about serving that it talks about what you're doing now, but there are people in the church who at the present moment, because of health reasons, because of age, can't serve. And in the survey, it makes it feel like they do nothing. They come and just consume. So we want to also recognize that there are people who have served faithfully for many years in the church and may not be able to continue serving, but their heart of servanthood is still there. And so when I think about serving over the 60 years of this church and 160 years of St. James, we must have tens of thousands of hours of service actually brought into this life of this parish. So we have a lot of people that have been serving faithfully in this place. One of the things that I was sort of grappling with this past week as I was thinking of this service is the two words, appreciate and honor. And the thing is, the dictionaries didn't really help me because I was trying to decide if appreciate and honor is the same meaning or actually different. So what do you think? Any thoughts? When you think of appreciate and honor, are they referring to the same thing, or is it actually different? Depends. What do you?
Circumstances.
Okay. So how would you look at appreciate and how would you look at honor?
You can appreciate, you can in fact see that.
Okay. And then honor?
Somebody's done something special for everybody. But you can appreciate one person, one person.
Okay. That's sort of where I was going to as well. Great, thanks for that. Any other thoughts?
I think appreciation is acknowledging.
Sorry?
Appreciation is mainly for the acknowledgement of the good things that are good people.
Okay, acknowledgement of what people did.
And honor is in return to show that gratitude or any way to respect that appreciation.
Okay, yeah. Somebody said something over there?
I said put love with honor and to those who appreciate someone washing the floor.
Yeah. So somebody washing the floor, you appreciate what they did? Yeah. Lisa, then Anna?
I was just going to say, appreciate for me seems wider. Like I can appreciate a sunny day, and I can appreciate a beautiful tree, but for me to honor is more to a person, like to a person for not necessarily
Lisa, Anna?
I think appreciate to me seems like a one-to-one, like you might say, like, hey, thanks, Adrian, you know, great job and give us an update last week, but to honour is more a public thing where you're kind of,
Okay.
acknowledging them.
Okay. Yeah, it's sort of, sorry, Sione, you want to say something?
Yeah, I thought was, like, appreciate, like, everybody has to say, like, being thankful or whatever. But then honour is, so I had in my head like a contract, you know? So you can appreciate the fact that there's a contract there, which is you're thankful for the contract, but to honour the contract is to abide by what the contract actually says.
Okay. So we have it looking at different things, and I mean the thing that I was thinking of, which some of you also touched on, is appreciation is a sign of gratitude, isn't it? You're saying thank you, gratitude for things that people do around the place. And honor, and I hear what you're saying, Sione, because honoring the contract means being true and faithful. But also honor can also mean you actually value the person. And so I may not be correct in my interpretation, but when you think of appreciation, it's more task-focused. You thank people for what they have done. And when you honor the person and value the person. And so both are important in some ways, isn't it? That yes, saying thanks to the things that people do around the place, but honor actually is also valuing the people that actually are involved in the life of this church. Yep, go.
In the honour, I think we're going to remember too, people that we do honour don't expect
The recognition.
we do it
That's
because
right.
we love it. We don't do it to be honoured.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Exactly. So that is true. And the person that actually does something in serving and working behind the scenes as the unsung hero, most of them actually don't want the honor. And so in some ways, it's not so much the volunteers seeking honor, but those around them actually valuing and recognizing and honoring what they do. So you are right that it's, when people who serve in society doing a lot of the wonderful things around the place, many of them actually are not seeking a title, an honor, a recognition. And so when they get the knighthood or whatever, it's not what they want, but it's because society sort of values and recognizes what they do. And so you're right. Most people who serve don't want the honor, but it's important, I guess, for us as the wider body to actually recognize and honor the people who do amazing stuff around the place. And so as I was sort of reflecting on John 15, and I was thinking about how can we honor and appreciate all that is happening around the place, just a few things I want to touch on that for us to be able to honor or value or appreciate what people are doing around us, first of all, we need to actually be secure in God's love. And so when we read John 15, verse 9 to 10, it says, by the way, there's no PowerPoint today. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. So Jesus is saying, as the Father has loved me, as Jesus is saying, as I feel secure in the Father's love, I can now love you, the disciples. I can value you, I can honor you, because I feel secure in my Father's love. And I guess sort of got me thinking that once we feel secure in our Father's love, it is easier to appreciate or value people around us. I can appreciate and value people who sing better than me. And that's not difficult to do. or you know, a keyboardist could value another keyboardist as someone who is probably doing a better job because it doesn't worry them or make them feel insecure because they are secure in the Father's love. And when we are secure in the Father's love, there is no longer any jealousy, right? Hopefully not, because we are not looking for it. We feel secure. We feel secure because we know the Father loves us. We feel secure because God accepts us for who we are. And when we are in that place of security where we feel secure, it doesn't matter if someone is a better guitarist. It doesn't matter if someone makes a better cup of coffee. It doesn't matter if someone cleans the place better than me. We can say thank you. We can appreciate, we can honor, we can value what the person who is better than us is doing in serving. And so I guess the first place is to be secure in God's love. And then Jesus goes on and say, love one another in the same way as I have loved you. And in John 15, he says this, my command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. So a couple of weeks ago, I think, I talked about the way Jesus loved and how Jesus served. And I talked about the spectrum where Jesus, on one hand, could wash the feet of his disciples, sort of a mundane thing, things that people would do back then, the simple tasks, the mundane tasks, right up to the willingness to actually give his life in sacrifice for the people he loved. So this whole spectrum, the mundane to the sacrificial. But for some people, the mundane is actually sacrificial. Someone who is struggling with ill health or who is weak or elderly or whatever, for that person to do, say for example, 1 hour of cleaning a month is quite sacrificial. Does that make sense? And so it is important to recognize that as people serve around this place, that we may think they're doing something small, something simple, something minimal, and yet for them it's actually sacrificial. And we need to recognize and we need to understand that as people serve, for them it's a big thing. Or those that are time limited, who is not having a lot of time, a mom looking after children, and for them to even give half an hour of their time is quite sacrificial. And so it's learning that for people who may be in our mind doing mundane things, for them actually it's sacrificial. And we need to appreciate and honor people who are doing that. And then to be grateful for what people do. And I was trying to think, the other thing I was trying to think about is, what is the opposite of appreciate? Disappreciate or misappreciate, is there such a thing of that? And I thought maybe it's ungrateful. It's probably a better antonym for appreciate, unless someone can come up with something better. But the opposite of appreciation is actually ingratitude, ungrateful. We take people for granted. We take, in some ways, we take it as, well, maybe it is my right to get served, It is my right for the music team to choose songs that I like and play the worship to meet my own needs. And so we can often become ungrateful because we feel we give our offerings, we hope to get a better service for what we give. And so we have that kind of attitude, don't we? What we can get. And that's a sign of being ungrateful. And it's learning to be grateful for the little things that people do, because the little things, as I said earlier, could be sacrificial for someone else. And then to be able not just to be appreciate and be grateful for what people do, but to then honor them above ourselves. And it's not in the John 15 reading, but in Romans 12, where Paul was talking about gifts, he says, be devoted to one another in love, honor one another above yourselves. So, in other words, we may think we are a great preacher, but if you put yourself up there, you cannot really honor people because you have a really high view of yourself. Or you may think, I'm a great musician, or I'm great in what I do. And when we have this high view of ourselves, it's harder to honor or value people above ourselves. And that is why it's so important to actually have a right estimate of yourself, as the Bible says. And to actually learn to know and honor people above ourselves, because for them and in their situation and in their circumstances, they're giving the best that they can. And so it's important for us to actually value and honor people who do things around this place. So I'm going to end here, but the thing is, how can we honor the volunteers, honor the people who give their time, their energy to serve, to pray, to give, to do different things in the life of the church? And just a few things that comes to mind as I think of honoring and appreciating people is to take notice of what people do. Take notice. When you see somebody serving a cup of tea or coffee, take notice and thank them. Or at the end of the service, going up to the musicians and thanking them, or even the sound tech, often they are the forgotten people, going up and saying thank you. And taking notice. And not just on Sunday, if you come during the week and you see someone doing some cleaning around the place, to actually take notice and appreciate. Give respect to people as they serve around the place. Don't take them for granted. Often I would come to church and I find cups unwashed in the sink. It's thinking that someone else is going to do it. And yes, someone else probably does it, but it's actually respecting what people do around the place, allowing volunteers to take time off, allowing volunteers to take a season off, allowing volunteers to say no, not taking advantage of the people who serve. Keep encouraging them. Keep inspiring them. Keep cheering them on. Be the cheerleaders, I guess, for our volunteers. And the last one, I was sort of umming and ahhing, but I think it's also important to say, by showing up, is actually honoring and valuing our volunteers. Yes, I know when we come together on Sundays, it's about worshiping God and focusing on Him. But sometimes we feel, I don't feel like coming to church. But the volunteers practiced. They are all ready for us to come and worship. And by not showing up, in some ways, I think it's not respecting the time people put in preparing for the service. And so if you have this attitude of honoring, appreciating the volunteers, what a great place this would be, isn't it? And I think that's something we need to sort of cultivate as part of this community of faith. We're going to play a video. Thanks, guys. And we're going to just watch the video, after which I'm just going to open it up for anyone to say a few words of appreciation for those that you see around the place. Thanks, Tim.
To our volunteers, we thank you. You get up early, you're the last ones out the door, day or night. You serve to be a part of the bigger story that is unfolding. You play the role that only you can play. And it's a story that we're all writing together. You realize that serving is more than the task that you do. It's more than making coffee. It's more than cleaning, or playing an instrument, or working behind the scenes, or hosting a small group. More than hanging out with teens, or playing trains with a child. More than handshakes and warm smiles. More than singing a song or having a conversation. It's way more than that. You serve to build a church community that welcomes people wherever they are at. You serve to create a safe place to explore faith. You serve because God first served us. You serve as a way of life. You serve to show compassion and grace and love. You serve to show that there are second chances and to show that God does not give up on people. You don't serve for power, recognition, popularity, or applause. You give when it's not easy and sacrifice when it's hard. You have found joy when you put yourself second. You believe in a story bigger than yourself and a dream that only God can deliver on. What you do matters. It matters more than you often realize. Together we can do so much. Together we are used by God. And if you're not part of this story, we invite you in. And to all of our volunteers, we thank you. We honor you. We couldn't do church without you being the church.
So I personally want to thank you all for serving, for volunteering around the place and all the different things that you do. And I'm going to start off also by thanking the leaders on Vestry. Again, many of them are busy people, and they give their time to serve on Vestry, to our subcommittees, people involved in those areas of ministry. Often the rest of the church don't realize the number of hours that these volunteers in these leadership roles put within the parish life. If I were to ask, for example, to Nola how many hours she puts in each week as a treasurer, you'd probably be shocked to think of a volunteer putting in so much time. Or for Richard, for the maintenance, or some of the unsung heroes that, I won't mention their names, but if you come on a Tuesday morning, you'll see an older couple, one in the office and another cleaning around the place, you know. And so to those leaders and subcommittees, they do an amazing work. And also on the staff, we have 2 volunteers that put in a lot of time serving on the staff team without getting paid, Alison and Sean, you know, and they do an amazing stuff as well. So I want to thank the leaders and the subcommittees and the volunteer staff, you know, for all that they do. Okay, so anyone else, feel free to stand up or speak out if there are anything without embarrassing anyone.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I like to thank a couple of people, one with yellow jacket, he's been good to me.
Sean.
Sean and that sort of stuff, doing his good job since he's been here. And you particularly as well as the other volunteers. You do a great job here.
Although I'm not really a volunteer. But thank you. Jill.
I'd just like to shout out to the people who do the flowers, the people who, behind the scenes, every Sunday, the ushers and the welcomers, because they are the first people that you meet, and a smile on the face goes a long way. So, and we also need more ushers. I'm actually speaking for Steve because he's actually cropped.
Yeah, Steve got COVID.
Yeah, the only reason I'm in the service is because there's people out there looking after our kids. So I just want to say thank you for the children's workers, Angela, Charlotte, and their organization.
And thanks, Steve, because Charlotte would have loved to be here to thank her team, for all the wonderful stuff that they do as well. So I just want to echo what Steve has said, because it makes worship easier for the parents when the children are sort of nurtured. But they're not there as a babysitting, but the children are also taught God's word and discipled as well. So thanks for the team.
I'd like to thank all the dear ladies on the Wednesday morning. They're always welcoming and helpful. And I'm just thinking of dear Anne, whose feet was hurting, and she's always serving in some way, you know. And dear Lou, coming and making us laugh. I mean, it means a great deal to me.
Thanks, Val.
Great deal.
No, thanks.
I want to thank all the saints who've gone before us, because James is in terms of the big thing.
That's right.
Just an example, all the stuff around us had a story. The largest chalice on there was a gift out of tragedy. Just so much.
And the Bible tells us to remember that this crowd of witnesses that have gone before us, isn't it? And in some ways, they have actually served and left their mark in this place. Now, somebody raised Sean and then Sydney.
Designs and holds the switchboard.
That's right. Yeah, so that's funny, doesn't it? Yeah. Thanks.
I would like to thank Graham for being here every week.
Exactly. Graham does an awesome job out there, keeping the place felt safe as well, Now somebody, Sharon.
I want to thank a couple. One was Lethal in the time of COVID.
Yes.
Wow, I so appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's so nice. I know she's so busy. But also I want to thank all the mums as well. I just love boys and to watch them growing and to be, I guess, part of their lives, like that. Oh my gosh, they're growing up, they're getting and it's just, I just want to thank them because they're actually such a big part of my life.
It is. Thanks, Sharon. So for those who have received a COVID pack, you may or may not know that Lisa has been the one putting it together, and the feedback I get, how did we know that this is what I needed? And I'm sure Lisa prays and puts it all together, and the feedback has always been positive, that it's just amazing what comes into that pack. So thanks.
I think we should thank Joy for putting up with you.
That's true, right? Thank you. Now, Jess. Oh, Exactly. Yeah. So thanks. For those who didn't hear, so what Jess is saying, she appreciates what Philippa has done for the Tea and Thoughts for 21 years. And the thing is, she has all the record of all the people that have been through that as well, and photos and of that child. And you're saying that some of them now are bringing their children into the Tea and Thoughts. So that's amazing as well.
I just want to say thank you to the preaching. Now these guys are real warriors behind the scenes.
Yes.
And we can put something through, and these ladies or men just absolutely gather together, and we can go to them, and I say they're real warriors.
Yeah. Yeah. So over the years, there are different people facilitating the prayer chain. Carol has done that with Lynn, and now Pam Sandstrom. Who were doing it before you, Carol?
Lynn did it before me.
So Lynn did it for a while. So yeah, that doesn't matter. And now we have Pam. So over the years, the prayer chain has been praying for people in the different situations. Someone there raised their stress.
I just want to say thanks to the people who serve coffee skills, because without them, we wouldn't be knowing each other's stories.
That's right. That's right.
Stop there, and we have a coffee, and then we chat.
Yeah, that's right. That's really good. Thanks. Yeah. Adrian.
Now, I know, Cliff, you don't see yourself as a volunteer, but I think this is also a moment to honour you and to appreciate you, to honour the gifting that you have, the call of God on your life to lead this church, for your love of the church and for your love of God, of the people within the church. So I want to honour you, and I'm sure we all want to honour you as well.
Yes, we
do. Thank you.
Can I continue the putting?
Okay.
I have great admiration for Joy, and that your life is so totally unpredictable that things you plan get totally disrupted, and she's always there to support you. And I think
and you are exactly right. Thanks, Diane. Appreciate that.
I'd like to thank one particular person and his kids for coming here, and his wife also. I'd like to thank Steve because he's been a challenging person and he's done a lot for everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone who gets a call last minute that says someone's sick or there's been a roster makeup, and they step up and they sacrifice their time to fill that gap. It's something to do that. So
That's great. Thanks. Anyone else? Audrey?
I think we should remember the people, silent people who do things, don't they?
Exactly.
A phone call, or something dropped by, or just say, I've been thinking of you, or something.
Yes. Well, that's right. That's silent. And also, I got to acknowledge Dorothy as well, that does an amazing work at St. James, and she's someone that we can rely on a lot, and always steps up to look after funerals, and we haven't had a wedding there for a while now, but funerals and other events, and she always steps up and does a good job. So we got to bring,
Okay, just one more. It's my job to put quite a few of the rosters together, so I just want to thank everybody. You probably already have, but there's one person that works behind the scenes for me that I don't think anybody knows about, and that is the person that checks my news sheets.
Yes.
Every week. I think in the 7.5 years I've been here, she might have had a couple of Sundays off. But Carol, I just want to say a very, very special thanks to you.
Could I just thank I'm thankful in St. James for Fiona, because she's I call them stalwart, who's consistent, she doesn't seem to be emotional up and down, who's consistent in her word, consistent in her loyalty and her faith towards God, you know, those stalwarts that inspire us.
And dear Alison, she's always available. And she always listens. Bless her.
Thanks.
I'd really like to thank Lou and all those people that are behind the scenes. Especially Lou and all those that are in that administration field, because without that administration field, you don't have your church. And everyone is a volunteer in something. And Chris, you may volunteer in another church. You'll still be a volunteer. So volunteering
being in one church is more than it.
I was just going to say that sharing and caring is the way to go.
Do you always stick to your work hours, Chris?
No.
There might be a bit of volunteering.
Thanks. Jakasha.
Just wanted to thank you for the spare time that you've sacrificed for us, like in the weekdays and things, and making extra support groups to help us grow closer to God, and just all the time you've given us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kasha. Okay, we have to round this so close. We have been going through and appreciate all that. We're going to come to a time of intercessions.